The 2016 Zero FX, FXS. This year, Zero Motorcycles showed that it isn't resting on its laurels with the addition of two new models, both of which are submodels of existing bikes. Today, I would like to focus on the FX line, and its new for 2016 member, the FXS Supermoto. While the base model FX Stealthfighter did get a new powerpack and better ergonomics in the rider triangle, the real story is with the FXS and its attempt to bring supermoto-style street, dirt and flat track performance to the electric bike sector. I've never made a secret of my love for this company and its products, or how much I support green transportation, so I'm stoked about Zero expanding its footprint. Join me while I look at these two multi-surface fun bikes. Continue reading for my review of the Zero FX and FXS. Design. It's safe to say the FX line follows a rather dirt bike-ish overall layout, and the minimal fuel tank bump keeps the top lines nice and flat for a nearly straight back. The Stealthfighter maintains many features that make it suitable for on-road use, with a bias toward off-road capabilities for something of an electric adventure bike built to undertake all manner of off-road shenaniganery. While the Supermoto runs on the same basic core as far as the drivetrain and frame are concerned, the suspension, brakes and tires shows a street-wise bent, and it comes set up for urban antics with the typical Supermoto dirt road capabilities. Both models run a triple tree-mounted front fender, and a very slim subframe assembly that visually concentrates the bulk of the bike in the center, leaving them with the impression of great agility. The factory calls these rides a personal amusement park ride, and I can see the potential for them to be just that. You just have to decide which playground you will favor. Chassis. Curb weight varies between models, but you are looking at something between 250 to 300 pounds, all told. In order to make a bike that light, you have to start out with weight savings as a primary consideration, and Zero built a frame for the FX series that weighs only 20 pounds, not a bad start. Steering head geometry reflects the unique nature of each model. The Stealthfighter runs 25.4 degrees of rake with 4.1 inches of trail for nimble, but not squirrely, off-road handling, while the Supermoto has a steeper 24.4 degree rake and short 2.8-inch trail for impossibly quick flicks, tricks and reversals. Both models run a 40mm Showa piggy back monoshock with adjustable compression, rebound damping, adjustable spring preload and 8.94 inches of travel. Showa floats the front as well on 41mm inverted front forks that come with the same adjustments as the rear, but the travel varies between models. The more off-road-tastic Stealthfighter runs with 8.6 inches of travel for truly rugged, off-road adventures, while the Supermoto has a slightly more modest 7 inches of travel for asphalt-based shenanigans. Tire choice reflects the intended use of each bike as well. The FX rolls on Pirelli Scorpion hoops that compromise between street and dirt handling, while the FXS gets the road racing Diablo Rosso 2 tire, also from Pirelli. Brake components also see some slight variations. Both bikes run with a dual-piston, J1 caliper up front and a single-pot J1 in the rear, all under the management of the Bosch Gen 9 ABS system. The FX uses 240mm discs front and rear, while the FXS embraces a bit more front-end stopping power with a 320mm disc up front and a 240mm disc in the rear. Yeah, Zero wants to make sure you have enough braking and control of the front end for some spectacular endos. Drivetrain. The 2016 model year saw the introduction of the Z-Force electric motor and modular power pack, features that made it onto both models. This new motor cools faster, so it can produce higher top speeds, and the power pack boasts a 14% increase in capacity over the previous generation. In short, you can go farther and faster this year. Regardless of power pack size, the motor cranks out 70 pound-feet of torque for a pretty good grunt per pound ratio. Horsepower varies according to which power pack option you choose. The ZF 3.3 power pack delivers 27 ponies, while the ZF 6.5 power pack ramps that up to 44 ponies. Unlike the other Zero models, the FX and FXS doesn't come with the power tank or charge tank accessories, so you won't get the same range and flexibility you get with the rest of the range. You do still have the option of reducing recharge times with multiple accessory chargers, so at least you can count on faster recharge times anywhere that you can plug in. It's safe to call these bikes big boy toys since the range is rather limited at something between 90 miles in the city, probably about the same off-road, and 17 miles at 70 miles per hour on the highway, depending on which power pack option you choose. Not exactly the stuff commuter bikes or tourers are made of. Top speeds are in the low to mid-80s, with top sustained speeds around 70 miles per hour and 0 to 60 times between 3.8 and 4.3 seconds, all depending on the power options and model selection. These kinds of numbers show where these bikes shine, in their potential for raw shenaniganery on a variety of surfaces. Like I said, big boy toys, all the way. Both models come with a 650-watt onboard charger that will bring the ZF 3.3 power pack to 100% charge in 4.7 hours, and the ZF 6.5 to 100% in 8.9 hours at any standard 110 or 220-volt source. That decreases dramatically with the use of the accessory chargers, and you can get down to 1.5 hours for a full recharge with 2 extra chargers, the max number you can use. Kinetic energy from the motor flows through a clutchless, direct drive system and a poly-chain, belt final drive for effortless riding. Regenerative braking simulates the feel you get from engine braking, providing the rider with a fairly natural downshift feeling that puts a little bit back in the batteries as well. Price. Both the FX Stealthfighter and FXS Supermoto roll for $8,495 with the base, ZF 3.3 power pack. The ZF 6.5, with its greater capacity, will run another $2,495, and the quick charge accessory will set you back $600 a piece. If you aren't careful during checkout, this can quickly turn into a $13,000 bike. Competitor. While I am sure that Zero would prefer to be compared against another electric bike, the truth is that the electric off-road field is really too narrow for a comprehensive head-to-head. Instead, I decided to demonstrate the viability of electrics by comparing them against a gas-powered model with similar capabilities, the Urban Enduro from Ducati. Right off the duck is sort of a supermoto with scrambler roots, and it looks the part. Most comparable visually to the FXS, the Urban Enduro carries a flat top line with a 31-inch seat, nearly the same as the Zero's. The Duck runs Pirelli street tires, much like the FXS, so you can expect it to be geared more for urban shenanigans. Obviously, the Duck runs a Dyno Juice engine, but again, the numbers seem to average out somewhat. The 803cc Duck mill cranks out 75 horsepower at 8,250 revolutions per minute with 50 pound-feet of torque at 5,750 revolutions per minute. Zero falls a little flat on ponies with only 27 out of the 3.3 kWh power pack and 44 from the 6.5 kWh pack, but makes up for it with the 70 pound-feet of grunt. Best of all, that torque is available as soon as you roll on, no need to spool the mill up to wring it out. It is available right now. Duck also runs with 41mm front shocks and an adjustable, rear monoshock, but the 5.9-inch wheel travel falls a little short of the 7 to nearly 9-inch travel across the FX range. Probably enough for trick or thrill riding in the city, but you had better be careful off-road, that skid plate will only protect so much. The Urban Enduro comes in a little proud with a $10,495 MSRP, but you get everything you need for that price. While the Zeros have a cheaper base price at only $8,495, you will have to skin that wallet for another $4K or so if you want to unlock the full potential. Just keep that in mind if price is an issue for you. End of the day, I'd say the electric bikes acquitted themselves admirably against the dyno ride, with the obvious caveat about range and refueling, recharging times. Or, you can just wait a few years for a few more leaps in battery technology. The line between gas and electric capabilities will become blurred, I expect. He said. To paraphrase Lincoln, guys into these kinds of bikes will find these to be just the kind of bikes they are into. The lack of range is a deal breaker for me, and if I had my druthers, I would go with the police bike version of the DSR, with its side bags and trunk. That said, I can see the FX line as a good toy, and the Stealthfighter in particular is singularly suited for striking out on deadly quiet hunting excursions. or general testosterone-fueled jacasserie, whichever you prefer. She said. My wife and fellow writer, Alan Hinton, says, I have to agree with my husband. I'm not feeling the limited range of the base ZF 3.3 versions, especially on the highway. Around town is better, but I definitely have to go for the upgraded power pack, and even then, faster charging times would be beneficial. Specifications.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.